Hello and welcome to another edition of Bone Beautiful Me Spotlight here on JLJ Media. I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media, James Lott Jr. And I like to bring you guests from the show. It's been a little while, but you saw his face is on there now. He's on there right now. He's on there. He's one of the newer faces of the Bold and Beautiful, and I'm so happy to have him on here. But we're going to get to know him a little bit because he also is a musician. He's been on other programs, and he's like myself, a native Los Angelian, which is very not common here. Help me meet Joshua Hoffman. Hi, Josh.
Hello, thank you. That was the coolest intro I've ever had in my damn life.
See?
Thank you.
There you go. Just for you. Okay, so Josh, so I would say a lot of us, I'm actually first generation Californian. Like most of my family's from somewhere else, my parents. So a lot of us aren't from Los Angeles, but you're born in Santa Monica, so you lived here, you were raised here, right?
Well, I moved a lot as a kid. I was born in Santa Monica. My life started out in Santa Monica, and then we moved around LA, and then I moved to Big Bear Lake. And then I lived a little bit in Florida, and I lived a little bit in New York, and then I came back. And yeah, I grew up in the back of a car a little
I
bit.
like
But yeah,
that. I know I
drove a lot.
like that. What was it like to live in Big Bear Lake? What was that like? It's beautiful up there, first of all.
Yeah, it is beautiful up there. You remember those years when you're like an early teenager and you're like, I can find a way to make anything bad.
Yes, yes.
That's what I remember back then. Yeah, now when I visit, it's like, wow, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I went skiing up there actually last week, and it was so sun. There was like no one out there, and then it just
Uh,
started snowing, and I was like, this is beautiful. All right, I get
it is. It's
it.
beautiful. No, it's beautiful up there. People forget Southern California does have mountainous areas that are very beautiful, and Big Bear
Yeah, definitely.
it is one of them. But I'm gonna say a name. I want to know who he is. Calvin Kingston. Who is that guy? And I want to know the story. I'm a musician also. There's a lot of musicians in the soap world, actually. A lot of people could sing and do stuff. So, who is Calvin Kingston, Joshua Hoffman?
I have no idea. I don't even know. I've never met him. He's not actually me. No, I'm
Woo!
joking.
Love it.
No, he's
We're never in the same room twice. We're never in the same room at the same time. We're never in the same room at the same time.
yeah. I've never actually shook his hand. We've never been in the same room, same time. So, um, no, it's just a name I put music out under. Before I did the show, I was doing a lot of music. I was doing performances in New York. Um, and yeah, it's just a fun. He is different than me. I think it's a different style of Josh, I guess.
Well, I always say that when you do music, it's also there's acting involved.
Mm.
You're acting as such. You went to NYU, so congratulations. That's a good school to
Oh,
go.
thanks.
So, oh, that's good. So I'm sure for you, I mean, part of this persona isn't it all kind of still some form of storytelling?
Yeah, it is. Definitely, yeah. I get to be the part of the part of yourself that you pull away from the day-to-day life because you're like, boy, if I act like that 24/7, I'm not gonna nothing's gonna get done. I'm gonna do some fun stuff though.
Yes.
That's I think that name and that idea and concept came out of, and yeah, definitely. I think the concept that a character opens you up more than being yourself all the time. I think that really applies to to the music world for sure.
Yeah. And what kind of
Yeah.
music is it? Basically, kind of is it all over the place? Is it fun? Just what
All over the
all over the
place.
place?
Yeah, there's R&B in there, indie rock, trap music, hip hop, to some metal influence stuff, hyper pop music. Yeah, just a huge conglomerate. Love. And then there's another project called Calvi also on Spotify that's just lo-fi folk. So a
Oh,
lot of different
wow.
things.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very well rounded. What is one thing you did learn from NYU, going to NYU?
Oh wow. One thing I learned from going to NYU, I learned a lot being there. I grew up. I didn't go to school. I was homeschooled
Okay.
up until my final year of high school, for my senior year. So being in New York and going to school was like, that was like the very first time I really got to be whatever I wanted. I got to just go around that city and just be myself. I really did, in the corniest sense possible. I found myself at school.
I love it though. But corny or not, I love it. I mean, New York is a great place to learn about yourself. It's a great place.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, couldn't have been better.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, do you? Okay, I'm gonna ask you this question. You have a choice, either or, because I found some from Brooklyn. Oh, thing. Okay,
Oh, cool.
a nor'easter storm in New York, or a hot, humid Indian summer in New York. Which one would you choose over the other?
God, that's like choosing which layer of hell to be in. Like you either want to be in the 9th layer or the 9.5 layer of hell.
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
always ask this. It's kind of funny. I always kind of because everything you're saying is exactly correct. Both aren't both aren't good. But you gotta choose one, Josh. Gotta choose one for me. Which one you take?
Just because I'm more of a cold guy, I'd probably choose like the crazy nor'easter cold storm. Even though I have like such prominent memories of like walking down the street while it was like storming and just like knives into your thighs. You remember that? Like how it's just like the wind tunnels and it's like, oh, I might not make it to this apartment. Like I'm crippled. I don't know if I'm gonna reach this building.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. My grandmother was like 4'0", was like, we're going to the store. We're going to the store, and like bundled all the way up. I remember that. Crazy. They're brutal. They're brutal. Yeah, he's not lying.
Yeah.
Brutal. Oh, that's very cool. Okay, for this, did you ever know about soaps, hear about soaps, watch a soap ever before you came to Bold and Beautiful?
I knew about them, of course. I'd seen them, funny enough, in the gym when I would be working out in the
Oh,
gym. That was the first time I think I saw like a soap episode, and I like watched it for a bit.
yeah.
So I'm telling Bold and Beautiful, we're back from
Okay,
five.
we can't hear it, so we're good. We can't hear what's going on, so we can't hear it, so I couldn't hear it.
I did turn the TV off.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, wow, that might be a spoiler.
I know exactly. We couldn't hear it either, so I don't know. That's good. That's good. Yes.
No, it's just Lisa, our stage manager, telling us on the mic. But yeah. What was the question again?
Oh no,
Sorry,
I was saying you said you saw a soap episode.
Oh yeah.
At the gym.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. The job I had when I was in New York was as a Blink Fitness greeter, like at the front of the store, and you know, you scan people in. And my friend texted me the other day, full circle. That was a little over a year ago, and he texted me a picture that on the TV there at that exact spot they're playing the show, and it was one of the scenes I was in with Lisa. Yeah, and I was like, wow, like I was sitting there going like, God, wouldn't it be great if I had a job and I was on the TV, and now here I am. It's really like I was. It was an amazing feeling. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like full circle moments. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So how did Both Beautiful get to your orbit? Was your agent go, "Hi, got a role possibly for it"? I mean, how did it get into your world?
It was amazing. It was great. It was my manager. I told him, God, days before. It was like the second audition he sent me. He's like, "Hey, do you want me to look for auditions?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting them from my manager, but you know what? I'm always willing to do more." And the second one he sends me is for this, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, let me try, let me do it." And then yeah, I went through. Funny story. I think he was an intern here for Bold in the '90s.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was a crazy story.
It was meant to be. There was obviously meant to be. I mean, guys they look at stuff like that. It was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're playing Rich Forrester Jr. Now, do you get the gravity of what that character is in the history of the show? Do you get like it's Brooke and Rich's only son, like this love story, it's their son. So do you get that? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I first got it, I did a ton of research. Funny, yeah, talked to Torsten, who plays Ridge, talked to Kelly, who plays Brooke, and, you know, it was funny. I think the first couple scenes we shot together, it was the first time I'd had scenes with Kelly, and I'd done some auditioning with Torsten,
Okay.
and we just instantly had the family dynamic thing going. Like whenever we do have scenes together, she automatically does the mom thing. We don't even don't
Oh,
even have to think about it. It's so funny. Yeah. Is it in between takes? Are you doing okay? How's everything? How do you like just keeps doing it. And then Torsten too is just like, how you doing? What's wrong? What's going on? What the hell? Like, just keeps doing it, and like it
oh,
stays throughout the scenes, which is really funny to me. And what I was hoping for, because when you're on the set for so long, you know, you don't have the energy to hold all this stuff together. And I love acting, but yeah, it was there's definitely I definitely do start to answer your question. I definitely do get like the gravitas of like being their only son, and how they play that up, and I get to see everything between them, and how, you know, RJ might have grown up, and you know what it means to be home for him has been a big thing for me, even recently with the storyline we're doing now. Like, what does it mean for him to now walk away from traveling the world and pick this job and to have this girlfriend? You know, what's the effect of that? So yes, definitely.
yeah, no, it's so okay. So you said you did your own research, so you kind of did your because there's a lot. I mean, a lot of research. Okay, I was going to do your own research. Because basically RJ's related to everybody. Like you literally, and when you came on the show, you were thrown in with scenes with Annika, then you're thrown with scenes with Jackie, then you're thrown with like you literally relate to everybody.
Yeah, everybody's a half sibling or a half brother or like it's really funny too. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It's an interesting dynamic. Yeah, no, it is funny. And that does make me this like kind of like, oh, everyone knows RJ. And I'm like,
Yes,
that's an interesting way to like everyone gets kind of connected. They're like all kind of saw me grow up or knew me or, you
yes,
know, no
yes.
Brick and Ridge. Yeah, it is
That is
interesting. It's really
that
cool.
funny. You know, really is. RJ's like the center. And they threw you into some really. I mean, first we have the love story, of course. We'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second. But I wanted just want to tell you what beautiful work you did with John McCook. Um, and with Torsten too. It was funny that the whole three generations thing. Eric was dying at the time. And of course the audience we didn't know if it was true or not. That he was dying, which made it even more powerful. And you just came on like not so long earlier, and
Mm.
your performance, we believed you that you were his grandson, and that you were like. So how what? I mean, before I even go further, how was that playing those heavy? I mean, you had to play these scenes of like support to him, to his character, but hold your own emotions. You had a very multi-layered storyline. How was that for you?
No, thank you so much for saying that. I mean, can't tell you how much that means to me. It means the world to me. I spend so much time going into like, you know, how could I make this even deeper and more, and you know, add even more to the script that we have. I loved those scenes. I was so excited. I cannot tell you how excited I was to shoot those scenes. I had my lines memorized fucking 8 days in advance, and I was ready
Ah,
to go. I was making choices and stuff, and
yeah.
yeah, and John is fantastic. He's one of my favorite people I think I've ever worked with in my career. He's super kind, and he's super patient, and you know, funny enough, the wisdom thing that he gives on the show also is in this too. And he's like, okay, so this is 37 years of soap opera experience for you. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I need it. You know,
Yes.
it's my
Yes.
first time ever doing one. Yeah. But absolutely love shooting those scenes. They were great.
How is the pacing for you? Because soap pacing is very different than other shows. Than like episodic television and stuff. It's very different.
It's I'm an athlete. I grew up training as an athlete. You know, acting for me was like the thing that my dad was cool with me doing as long as I was constantly training to be an athlete. Um,
How fun! I
and
like that. I like
I
that. Actually, I
imagine
like
it.
that. I like that.
Yeah, but like, so that's kind of a little bit of my mentality is like, oh, I've got to be disciplined with it. But I compare it to long distance running versus sprinting. You know, if you ever see a long distance runner in the Olympics and a sprinter in the Olympics, it's a completely different thing. You know, if I'm doing a movie, we spend 6 hours, seven
Right.
hours on one scene, you
Right.
know, and it's a whole different, there's a whole different amount of energy I get to put into that. And there's a different result, really. It's just a completely different medium. If I was a painter and I was painting like Jackson Pollock or like Picasso or, you know, and it's a completely different style. So I've just adapted to that. I didn't try to fight that. I just tried to take in that, okay, we're going to do this much. We're going to shoot 3 episodes today. and this is what I'm going to be capable of doing, and I'm just going to pace myself like it's a long 10-mile, 30-mile, or if you're Catherine Kelly Lang, 10,000-mile jog, where you just go until run off the face of the earth.
Isn't she amazing? No, she's been doing it for a long. She's amazing.
She told me one stat. She said she went on a jog, and I was like, "Oh, how far did you go?" And I can't even remember what she said, and I just remember sitting there being like, "What?"
I know.
How do you do that? Like that's
I did a couple of half marathons once, and that was enough for me. That was 13 miles, enough for me. And that was enough.
No.
She's
One's enough. One full mile. That 4 times around the track. By that 4th time around, I'm like, this is great. This is good. This is a lot.
Some folks are runners, and so actually some folks aren't. Some folks are runners. Catherine, she's a runner. Yeah. She's obviously a runner, but
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, she's like, folks, look at her stories on her. You'll follow her. She's a runner. But yeah, those scenes were all wonderful, and you were really good in them. And it was we got to see the other side of RJ, because now RJ entered the business. So we got that established. But then on the other side, they said, let's just throw someone else to Joshua's way. We're gonna give him a romance on the show. And you guys are so cute together. It's like Zen, they stay away. No. So that's just me. So now for you, have you ever done romance on any shows before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have. In some film work and on some TV work. Yeah, I've done some romance stuff before. Okay. This is obviously completely different.
Well,
to this extent. Yeah.
I'm sure, and it's much different. So how's it been for you building that relationship on the show? I mean, you guys are so great together, but how's it been for you as an actor?
It's enjoyable, fun. I like, testing out different little dynamics and different little things. It gives me a lot to play with, because it's kind of been the first really personal thing that's happened to RJ specifically. Like grandfather dying, everybody chimes in on that. And I really loved it. I had a really personal relationship to him and to that. And that was really enjoyable. But with her, it's just like this person that's like, it's really specific to him, like that this is the first woman that he's ever fallen in love with. And playing with that and having, I in every single scene, if we get multiple takes, the few times we do, I get to play.
Every time.
I always feel like I got like a new thing to juggle, even too in the next scene or whatever we do. I always hold on one second. Oh, hi. See.
Who is it? Okay. Say hi. Who is it?
She's grabbing my wardrobe from today.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was like, oh, she's me. But just working and having something that I really got to play with personally, and Lisa is great. She's super professional, so anything that I do, she plays with, which is amazing. I get to have like a scene partner all the time, and it's been super. I love it. It's great.
Speaking of athletes and athleticism and stuff, do you watch your own scenes?
Funny, I used to. When the show started, I was watching a bit, and as of recently, I stopped because I'm definitely one of those people that just, overanalyzes, takes things too far, and it's not helpful at a certain point.
Right.
But sometimes I will watch clips, or my manager will say, "Hey, you should see the episode today." Every once in a while, and he's like, so you can study your work, etc. And I will. So I don't watch everyone though.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. No, I know some other actors who come from like athletic backgrounds. They're like, yes, I kind of watch it, the whole like, I should have turned left here, and I do, that kind of thing. Like in sports, you're like, okay, I should have read
right
down.
Yeah,
you know how it is. Yeah, that's great. Cool. Would you ever want to combine and do a musical ever? Taking music and
oh my gosh. Oh, like do something like that. I thought about it. My voice is really it caters itself to lo-fi performance. I think it's not a very operatic, with that big, huge. I maybe I could. I don't know. I've thought about it. I think if I trained with someone for a few months, I could do like, you know, like you saw Wonka, like if I had like an
Yeah,
audition for a part like that and I somehow got it, like I would be like, I think I could get to the point where I could get a performance that you could melodyne the hell out of and
yeah,
possibly
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
release. But yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Good. And
Definitely.
how has it been with you with the fans? You're now in a whole new world. It's like so fans, you know, are very strong. They're like Star Wars fans. They're like Star Trek. They're very strong. You know they are. So how's it been for you
Yeah.
entering into this? Yes.
I've honest to God, I'm not, you know, censoring anything. I've only had the best experiences running into people that love the show. Like I've really only run into people that are just the kindest, sweetest human beings I've ever met, and they just want to talk. And they want to do. I had one guy that was like, "Hey," screamed across the street. He's like, "RJ." I was like, "Oh, hey," and he's like, "What happened to your grandfather?" And I was like, you gotta watch. We're having a conversation across the
I
street. It
love
was
it.
hilarious. I was like, you gotta watch the show. I can't tell you what happens
I know,
across the street. And he's
I
like,
know.
hey, he was an older gentleman, and he's like, all right, I'll watch it. And he keeps going. It was the funniest. That was the best interaction I've had. I was like, he just kept walking. I was like,
Yeah,
awesome. He was like, he just wants to know what happened. He didn't want to watch. Now he's gonna have to watch. I got him to stay on it.
you got to stay on
So
it. Right.
funny.
So the other thing too, soap world, okay, because you guys are ahead. No spoilers. We don't do spoilers. You can't.
Right.
Always got to be
Oh
ready.
yeah.
But for you, got to be careful too when you're like posting stuff or whatever. You're got to be like, you know, yes,
Yeah, exactly. What did I shoot yesterday and 4 months
right,
ago,
right.
and they all become the same thing, and I'm just going down the path of this plot. Yeah. I've been there once. Yeah, I've been like, Eva, is this all right to say? And she's like, yeah, no, this is good.
Yes. Oh, my girl, Eva, I love her. Okay, so here's the deal. I do want to ask you this really quick as we start to wrap this up. How do you study for your lines? What I always ask some of my actors, kind of, do they have a system, or do they have somebody run lines with them? Do you do tape? I've heard all kinds of systems, so I was curious for you, what kind of system do you use that works for you?
It looks like a war map, man. It looks really weird. I have so many different methods going all into it. I'm not a talented memorizer. Like Lisa, she'll look at some sides and then she'll be like, okay, I got it. Or like other
Most
people
people
have
are
that. And I'm
good.
like,
They're good.
that's so awesome. I'm so glad that
Yeah,
you can do that. That's
yeah.
so
I know
cool.
they're really good at that. Some people are really photographic memory. They look at it, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, gotta go. Yeah.
But you'd laugh if you saw mine. I've got the bubble system. Okay, that's the
Okay.
first system. So I'm circling words that relate to each other and themes that I can kind of remember. So I circle them and draw lines and circles, and they connect. And then when they don't connect, I've got to draw a small picture to memorize the line. So if I say shark, I draw a small shark. If I say eyes, I draw a pair of eyes. I've drawn a lot of eyes, man. I draw the eyes all the time. I've got a I've got different highlighters. It's funny. Like everybody seems to figure out if the set, like on set, like if I leave my side somewhere, they know they're mine because of how specific, yeah, like how much stuff I've got written in, and then I've got ideas for how to, you know, subtext. So then that's jotted down. I can't even read it. I don't even know why I write it down. I can't even read my handwriting when I fly that fast. It's like, oh yeah, I want to do something there,
Yes,
something
something.
interesting I thought
It
of a
meant
while
something
ago.
at the time, and at the time it meant something. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then yeah, and then everything else on the page is just like absolutely just like there's been times that I've actually gone like, wow, this is like incoherent. I need to get another set of sides. Like if they give me too long with a pair, like then it's like, okay, I need to like reprint these so I can read this. And then maybe I'll have it memorized. And then there's the edits too.
Yeah.
I gotta edit things out, or I'll do my own edits or things, or like, oh, can I cut this? Can I not cut that, etc. And like make a note of it for when we shoot on the moment. Yeah, it looks crazy to answer your
Well,
question.
it's showing on screen. We would never know. We would never ever never know. Well, Joshua, thank you so much for your time. I'm it's so nice to meet you. Hope to see you more in the future as you grow on this. And like I said, I'm friends with folks at Bold and Beautiful, and so you're welcome to the family. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be interviewed. So I really appreciate it.
So watch him. He's on Bold and Beautiful weekdays on CBS. I'm James Lott Jr. We're on Sundays. We do our show, the Bold and Beautiful Meet Spotlight, on Sundays, and we talk about the show. Of course, we've been for 8 years. I've been doing it. So we're going to continue doing it because we love our folks at CBS Television City. We'll talk to you guys next time.